What should you be saying no to so you can say yes to the things that you want most? Who are the people that you need to avoid at all cost so you can optimize your time with the people that would be most beneficial to you and you would be most beneficial to them? I was talking to a pro athlete the other day. He lives in the same building I do, and some of his mail got delivered to my address accidentally. And I seen the guy in the lobby, and I see, I'm wearing, I don't know, a 25-year-old flannel shirt with a tear in it. Just came from the Home Depot. I have stains on my jeans from glue, from from wood flooring, like gluing down wood floors in a high-rise, So I have glue all over me. I'm wearing a 25-year-old ripped t-shirt, or ripped flannel shirt. And it didn't take him 2 seconds to assess of this guy's not, the way I was speaking or body language or speaking to him. He wasn't paying attention that I just jumped out of a Maybach in front of the building. He didn't see that part because he was talking to someone else in the lobby. It didn't take him 2 seconds to assess of this fella's up to something and I should treat him as such, I looked like a bum. There's plenty of truck drivers that have higher fashion than I was exhibiting at that moment. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't take 2 seconds for a human to understand that. So, I think I was wearing this watch as well. Not that he paid attention, but it's $100,000 and change for a watch and an old ripped shirt that you couldn't get $3 for on the internet. I don't think that I don't like most people, and I don't think anybody's supposed to like me. I don't think I'm owed that from anyone at all. And well, the way you ask that question is fantastic because the way a lot of people ask that similar thought, they have that similar thought, but the way they phrase a question like that is, Derek, how do I make somebody like me? How do I make this guy like me, make some woman like me? And it's the source of 90% of your problems if you're thinking that way, So it's great the way that you're thinking that way of how do you think about relationship building. And I think first you got to think about, you're going to think a lot about target market related to others of who are the people that you want to associate with. But before you can answer that question, you got to go back to the foundations of that 3 sacred questions exercise of, what kind of man are you? What kind of life do you want to live? And without clarity on that, nobody of any substance, the best men or the best women are not going to be eager to hang out with, uncertain and indecisive people. So you have to have that certainty and decisiveness yourself. And it might not be popular. The answers to those questions might not be popular. The answers to those questions might not win you an election. So, you have to be able to live with that. And I really think it'd be a miserable life to not have that thought in your head of, who am I? What do I want? And maybe not noble things. Maybe not noble things. I don't mind saying publicly, I say somewhat frequently, people talk like selfishness is a bad thing. I think selfishness is great. I don't trust anybody that tells me they're not selfish. I don't want to be friends with anyone that wouldn't admit to me, at least privately, that they're a selfish person. The people that talk that way, the people that talk about altruism the most, literally are the most scumbag, piece of shit, awful people in the world. It's the worst of the politicians, the worst of the religious leaders. Those are the people that are everything give, altruistic. So I start with that selfishness of, what kind of man am I? What kind of life do I want to live? And until you have that clarity, that's the northern star of your life of how you should, that gives you the answer. What should you be saying no to so you can say yes to the things that you want most? Who are the people that you need to avoid at all cost so you can optimize your time with the people that would be most beneficial to you and you would be most beneficial to them? And the nicer part about me, or the part that makes me quite useful to others, is I don't think anybody owes me a goddamn thing. So I think if I want anybody to do anything for me, I better make myself extremely useful to them. Because nobody's going to do a fucking thing for you if not, or at least not for any period of time. So I kind of go about my day thinking about that of, if I want to enhance my own life or my own happiness or, social resources, intellectual resources, financial resources, I'm going to have some other high quality people around. So, I try to share those resources with that select group, and, there'll be imbeciles on the internet. They're like, a criticism that I get on Instagram is people will write me and they say, Derek, you're not even here helping the people that need it most. You're just helping people they were already going to be successful. Now you're helping them be even more successful. You're part of the problem, Derek. And it's like, well, feel free to unfollow. If you don't appreciate what I do, feel free to unfollow. Go fumble around with, go ask some homeless people for advice. See how that works out for you. Or they'll write me. They say, I'll invite them to, like a webinar thing I'll do once or twice a month. I'll do a public webinar, and it's once a month on average. And I'll send an invitation for that if they enter the word wealth on my Instagram, they're going to get an invitation to show up to that next webinar. All right? And then, right on thing, I hate the word free. I hate the word. I never use the word free in any outward marketing communication. You don't want somebody that responds to the word free. You don't want the maximum number of people that respond to the word free. So I might say something in there. It's like, join this event for no charge, which anybody with an IQ of like 80 could interpret no charge means free, but without hitting that key word free. So, join this event for no charge, blah, 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 blah. If you're serious and dedicated, join us here for no charge, blah, 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 on this time and date. All right? And then they'll write me, they'll say, is it free? If they read the fucking thing. Now, is that my target market? Is that somebody that if they had the money and they wanted to give me the money, is it somebody you want to sit in the room with? Somebody you want to spend your future with? All right, so, you have to think about that in every aspect of your life. It's like, usually I just ignore those people and, or I say something like, if you prefer free over valuable, please unfollow and fumble around by yourself. Best wishes. I don't necessarily insult them. I don't say, but if that's their preference, if you like free, and the fucking thing is free, by the way. There's no charge, but they didn't even care enough to read the fucking thing. And it also tells me about someone's judgment where if they see I got almost 600,000 followers. I got my little blue check mark. I got 593,000 or something at the moment, okay? And that person would rather write me and ask me, and I actually do look at most of my DMs, I look at myself actually, still, because I want to know who are the right people, and I want to change that message to some extent to make sure that I'm communicating to the right people and actively alienating the not right people, all right? But somebody that would rather send me that message and ask me something that's obvious rather than read the fucking, read a few lines of text or click on the fucking thing to see what it does, that also tells me something about their judgment. Yeah?
Yeah.
So is a person they're not going to be considerate of me. They're not going to be considerate of any of the other clients either. It's probably not going to be a very high functioning person. If they're having trouble struggling with that, they're probably not very resourceful in most other things they do. And you could say, well, Derek, that's too harsh. It's a small sample size, or it's not enough information. No, but there's a reason your brain, looks for heuristics about people. So, first one has to think about who you are and what you want in a very selfish way, in an extremely selfish way, in a way that you think society would judge you negatively for, but it's just the fucking truth. And then you got to go find other people that are going to be compatible with that life. And and if you want those people around, you're going to have to make yourself useful to them. It's going to have to be a goal of yours that that you understand. You're not thinking in the short term. You're thinking about midterm and long-term outcomes. And you understand the more I could make myself useful to these people in general, when something comes up in my life, they'd probably be happy to share some resources or some wisdom or something to help me out with that too. If you need something right now, you can never have it. If you need it right now, forget about it. But if you're thinking like that, making those social investments, proactively and preemptively with men, and we'll go to the woman part. If you're making those investments proactively and preemptively, that, when you meet somebody interesting, it doesn't take a lot of effort to go out of your way to bring them a fucking almond, or if you got 100,000 pounds of almonds and you bring them, a pound or so over there, pound and a half, that's memorable. So little things like that. What did that cost? What's that cost you at your cost of production for that? It's like $3.
It would be significantly more because it's processed, so it's not just the quantity of the nuts. And then these are also small snack sizes, so they would be far more expensive. But I would say the value of that entire thing would be under $30.
You think he's going to get more than $30 back for that, one way or another? It's like negligence. I asked the fellows who are not in the program, they're in a cluster right here, just to make things easier for everybody, less distracting for the room to chat with them, and help them with current goals, future goals, and if it makes sense for them to join us later. I'd love to have the right ones. I'd love for the wrong ones to leave, but they have to make that decision, So, then you just get back to that. It's like, who's the target market? Who are the people that you want to attract? Who are the people that you'd rather alienate? I mean, I spend a lot of effort thinking about how to alienate certain types of people that I don't want around. I'm pretty damn good at it, because ideally they wouldn't talk to me ever. Ideally they wouldn't talk to me ever. They'd go do whatever over there somewhere, So I spend a lot of time thinking about that, and a lot of people here know, the people are in the mastermind groups, like people will come to me at events. They want to join. They're eager to hand us $20,000, and good chunk of those, it's more than $500,000. I'm just like, no, I can't. No, I can't. It's not the right time. It's what I think Travis mentioned that yesterday. If I can't picture myself hanging out alone with this guy in my living room and feeling totally happy, feeling just as comfortable or happy as if I was there by myself, I don't want him around. I don't want him around. If I couldn't feel comfortable that, the mastermind group, it should be somebody that I could take them on my friend's yacht, I could take them on my friend's jet, or we could go to like Burger King together. Or if I was in a hurry, if I was in their city and I had a really rush day, but hey bro, I got 45 minutes to hit the gym, why don't you come through and we'll chat between sets? They'd be totally happy about that and totally comfortable, and might be too busy. Ideally be a person who's too busy themselves to even come. So they wouldn't even be able to make it. But if they could make it, it'd be comfortable, it'd be fun. It wouldn't be like, well, hey, let me tag along for whatever else you're doing that I wasn't invited to. It should be something like that. If I feel any little icky, I'm just, no. And I would say that you got to think about, assets versus liabilities in this context, whether in a business context, whether in a social context with men, or whether in your dating life. You have to think of like, well, if I let this person into my life, maybe they're going to give me 20 grand right now. And that's okay, that's nice and everything. But if they're going to be causing me $100,000 in problems later, if they're going to make me feel emotions I'd be delighted to pay 50 grand to get rid of, you might have taken a $20,000 asset, but you also took on a $50,000 or $100,000 liability. And it's really worse than that, because the type of people that we have in that group is like, it's not a joke that there's going to be $1 billion in wealth created in that group. It's not an exaggeration that's going to happen, because there's already tens of millions of dollars cumulatively. Okay, so if you start diluting the quality of the people there, it's going to be awkward and make things uncomfortable. Are the other members even going to want to participate and hang out with people like that? So it's a lot worse, and I'm saying $50,000 or $100,000 to make it relatable. It's really much worse than that. Allowing the wrong people pollutes the environment. That it's really much worse than that. It's probably millions of dollars, or a lot more. So you have to think, and you got to think about the same thing with about the worst thing you could do in your life is have a child with the wrong woman. About the worst possible thing you could do is have a child with a woman that you and her are just not compatible together. Doesn't mean she's a terrible person. But having a child with someone that you're just really not very compatible together, about the worst thing you could do to yourself and to the poor little bastard that you're going to have to abandon to go live your life the way you want to without him. So I think about things like that, and I try to think about, mostly long-term outcomes. Almost always long-term. It's like, well, what's the long-term? What's the second and third order effect of being involved with this person or that person, And, I guess another social nuance, whether it's, hot girl or wealthy guy, these people get lied to all day. Any guy that has any significant social status just gets lied to all day long. You ever spend time in a big corporation? Or what are you up to?
Yeah, I'm at a startup. And most companies have been like startups.
Okay, fair enough. So when anything good happens, how long does it take before the CEO knows about it?
It's pretty quick.
And how many people are responsible for this good thing that happened?
I wish I could quantify that, but
Almost everybody's happy to take a bit of responsibility when something good happens. Anybody that could make a feeble claim or have any, it's my mere presence here helped with a good thing happen. How long, when something fucked up happens, how long does it take for a CEO to find out about that?
It's like immediate, within seconds.
Maybe in a startup, arguably, but in a big corporation, when something bad happens, nobody wants to tell the guy in charge. And nobody's responsible for it, especially the people that are most obviously responsible for it. It's not their fault, it's somebody else's fault. So, you think about a pretty woman's life, and it's the same damn thing. People that everybody wants something from them is like they have to be guarded, they have to be a little standoffish, and they can't trust people. And, a key element if you have in the type of relationships you want is that you can't need something from somebody else. They have to get the vibe that, and you can't fake it. Those are the world subject matter experts, hot girls and guys that have an abundant lifestyle, and women that have an abundant lifestyle, to say it that way. So powerful men, attractive women are the world subject matter experts. Is like, is this motherfucker lying to me right now? And when somebody's bullshitting you. All right? Then imagine that your whole your whole life is a series of people trying to bullshit you and get something from you. They want a job, they want a raise, they want to take a photo with you, they want to do whatever. Now you get even more adept at seeing the precursors to something uncomfortable or something you'd rather avoid, So, you have to have a thought of make it a goal to help that person accomplish something important to them. Don't be needy about it. Don't expect any reciprocity at all, especially in the short term. And about the time somebody gets that idea of this guy doesn't need money from me, doesn't want a job, doesn't want anything from me. He's just interested in what I'm up to. We just have some similar interests and some similar goals, and he's pretty autonomous and independent by himself. About the time somebody feels like that, then they'll be reaching out to you, because it's very rare in their lives. It's very rare in their lives that they're like, oh, you mean I could talk to this guy and be myself and he's not going to treat me weird? They'll be calling you. They'll be reaching out to you, be inviting you to go do something cool. Even then, I don't ask them for anything. For those type of relationships, I might spend 85% of any effort being made is, I might be offering them something, useful. I'm not trying to invent something to fucking pretend to offer them something useful, but just let them know. I was like, yeah, I'm a pretty resourceful guy. I think I might be able to help you with something, give me a nudge. Don't be shy to give me a nudge. Send me a text. Let me know what you're up to. See if I can help. Happy to help if I can. I understand you might need to be discreet or private about something. I understand that. It won't be a problem. And they can't find people like that. Because everybody has, it's the temporal discounting bias. That people are always focused on, short-term, immediate gratification. They want to get something right now. That's why I don't have anything. Because they're always focused on right now, myopically focused on right now, and their immediate sensual perceptions, or so I'm hungry, I want something right now, or I want $1 million right now. Well, you could have $1 billion fucking dollars maybe if you worked for it over time. If you need it right now, if you need $1 million right now, where you're not going to get started, then you're just going to stay poor.
So I'm 3 weeks into the Moneyberg Markets Mastery course. And so far I've been, really impressed just how in-depth and comprehensive the course is. I'm very new to investing in stocks, but Derek, built a course so that a complete beginner like me can get a solid foundation to go ahead and, start investing by myself. Right off the bat, we were thrown into the deep end and learnt how to read the annual report for a company and look for information basically so we can tell if a stock is undervalued or overvalued and whether it's just worth an investment. Derek went through various financial statements and showed us how to read and interpret an income statement, a balance sheet, and then he went through and showed us how to analyze that information by applying different ratios to measure the value of a stock. For me, that's been the best thing I've learned so far on the course. But the key for me is that each week we spend about 4 hours with Derek where he explains his own investment strategy. Derek is definitely a contrarian when it comes to investing, and his experience on how to use the stock market, during times of uncertainty and volatility is something that you'll just not find in a university course. A lot of mainstream pundits right now are saying how the market is in a bubble and the possibility of another market crash is inevitable. But Derek, he's showing us how to, navigate past all the hysteria and noise and, to use, basically just to stay calm and focused while other people are panicking. That for me is the real value, because in the future I'll be able to use this information and be ready to take full advantage of another market crash.
Thanks for watching. Success is not for everybody, and it may not be for you. If you are or on your way to be a millionaire or multimillionaire, probably going to want to spend time with my clients. Probably going to want to have a personal relationship with me so we can accelerate that process, get you living up to your maximum potential, earning your maximum wage. You're going to want to click that follow button. You're going to want to click that bell and get notifications. Tune in every Friday. Tune in every Monday. You're going to love what you see. I look forward to having you as a client in the future.